To you, what is the impact of the cloud pricing war? I mean, we hear Amazon and Google having this fierce war. I think Amazon claims they've cut pricing 42 times in the last few years. So somehow they're keeping track, 38, 39, 40. I find that almost amazing. But what is the impact of this big race to the bottom that the cloud vendors are doing?
Well, I think I'm going to surprise you. I think that in the short term there is a cost-saving impact. On the long term, there's no impact on clients.
No.
And I think I'm going to show you an example in a minute or so that actually proves this concept. Obviously, prices will continue to drop. Okay, they will go as low as the Moore's law. Okay, and I think that's going to be the probably the most significant tools that cloud vendors will use to increase adoption, at least in the very beginning, and raise prices later on. That's true. Google play a strong bet on price reduction of around 42% last month, and Amazon responded very, very quickly. Actually, Google did a very smart move by introducing sustained discounts that are much less complex than Amazon Web Services, which should increase the migration to Google Cloud. But getting back to my point, I think that in the long run, there will be no cost benefit because of this price reduction. And that's a result of what we call, and Paul and I has discussed it many times in the past, it's a result of what we call the Jevons paradox. The Jevons paradox is a paradox that says basically that when the price per unit goes down, the consumption goes up. Mm-hmm. It's taken from other markets, from the electricity or infrastructure markets. And what I would do now is I want to share with you an interesting slide. So the title of this slide is a case study: Optimization Increases Cloud Adoption. It's a real case study from probably one of the leading technology consultancy services in the world. They use the cloud for application development and testing. And I want to make a long story short, I want you to take a look at the graph. So you have the red line that shows the number of ECU hours. The number of ECU hours increases from around 85,000 to around 120,000 in 6 months. On the blue line, you see the cost per ECU hours. So you see that the price goes down and the cost per ECU hours actually dropped, but the consumption goes up.
People use it more.
Yeah, people are actually using it much more. So, and I think that's what the cloud vendors are trying to do. Eventually, they are trying to bring as much workloads as they can to their infrastructure and taking care of prices later. That's my view. And if you will take a look at it on the short term, customers will benefit from a low cost per ECU hour, but in the long run, they will use more the cloud. So I think it could be a win-win for both the vendors and the clients.
Probably the loser in that scenario is the smaller cloud vendor who wants to get on board, and the prices they can charge are so low that the barrier to entry to that market is just going to be too tough for them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And the big question would be what's going to happen with the secondary market, if you want, of the small cloud vendors that doesn't have a competitive advantage relatively to Google or Azure or Amazon Web Services, HP, IBM, and the others.